doing, Jeff?
And you're on.
Hello, folks. Nice to be back after a snow day. We don't have remote learning, so we're just trying to catch up. As all of you are aware, I'm sure, there was no meeting last week due to the storm. And we'll start off, as usual, with our town clerk report as she's running around passing out the agenda.
Okay. Well, we finally got our training logins from Trio, so that's exciting. I passed that on to Deb and Renee, so we all have access to the recorded trainings on budgetary and check reconciliation. So working on that and applying it. We have had 5 lien discharges within the last 2 weeks, which is great. The foreclosures, today at 6 p.m. is when the foreclosures are in effect and become town-owned. We have gone from 11 pending foreclosures to only 1. I have made contact with that property owner, and they are very aware of the situation, so they know what's going on.
Do they live on the property, or is this just like a summer?
They do live on the property,
Live on the
as far as I
property.
know. So we'll see what happens with that. And just in general, our 2022 taxes have increased by $4,623.90 from 2 weeks ago. So 92.8% have been received so far. That's all I got.
Thank you for your work on the liens and foreclosures. And I'm hoping the last one comes in before 6 o'clock.
Do you have any indication?
I'm not sure on this one, honestly. Not sure.
But there's a possibility.
There's a possibility.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Right now, at 4 o'clock, we'll take possibilities. All right, we've heard the town clerk's report. We've reviewed our agenda from 2 weeks ago to make sure it was appropriate and correct, and have signed off on that.
Minutes.
No, March 7th, I think this is today, never mind. February 21st minutes, we looked at those.
Yeah.
Whatever. Today's agenda is what we're going through right now. And we approved bills and reviewed them for the 7th and the 14th. There was an ad in the shopping guide for planning board and a Board of Appeals openings. Nothing from the CEO. I'm expecting a report next week on February. We did get our monthly York County Sheriff's report. Really one noticeable event. Our deputy responded to a home in Middle Road, a non-criminal domestic issue, and he ran into Aaron Porter from Hiram, who had an outstanding arrest warrant out of Cumberland County. So deputies here arrested the person and transported him to Yonkers County Jail without incident. Well, that's a lot better than the results from January, which had about 6 or 7 incidents. Animal control, we have the report. Oh, just another note on the York County Sheriff's report. We should be getting our new vehicle. Well, the projection is next month. Talked to Deputy Sears today, and he's looking at April or May. They have to equip the vehicle with obviously all the radios and necessary, and putting graphics and equipping the vehicle for our use. The animal control report. Nothing unusual, dogs. We did have a horse that was among the missing. Apparently, after 4 days, it was found. Is that?
It showed up on its own, back home,
Well, just
from what I read.
missed that home cooking, you know?
Yeah.
And everything else is just, you know, the usual dogs and cats, so that's going along. Both these items, all these items will be in a summary format in our annual report that comes out when you have the annual meeting, so you'll be able to look at over all these things and see what's going on. The planning board, Roger Moreau was appointed to the planning board. He was an alternate. It replaces a member who resigned. So we'll be looking, as I said, in the shopping guide for members of the planning board, new members of the planning board.
Yeah, feel free to step up to that, folks.
Yeah, I mean, people who are interested in the town, I mean, it's a commitment, but certainly you can help form the direction of the town and what's happening, and only good things can come of it. Comprehensive Committee, we're saying the next meeting is March 28th. I don't see Harvey, but I'm sure that's a good number, a good date. Dave, maybe you can give us an update if there is on the...
I was hoping that I got a response, but I have not heard back from, I'm sorry, I gotta find his name, Mr. Cole at Soltage. I emailed him late afternoon yesterday and haven't heard back, so. So, nothing new on that, I guess.
Okay, Robinson Mill is, I'm sure most of you are aware, the purchase and sales agreement was signed 2 weeks ago. And the deed and sale will take place no later than June 30th.
Well, it may be later than that, but it will be impending rent charges, right?
Yeah, if
Well, I
it
mean,
gets
if
delayed.
it's not June 30th, there's penalties involved
Right. Yes.
after June 30th.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems that from conversations, their environmental work that they need done can be done a little quicker than they thought, so that's a good thing. And Stanley Building, the court case was extended, but really the town is not involved with that anymore, so aside from paying our last legal fees for the building, which we just did, the Stanley Building is off our agenda.
We haven't heard that for a fact from our attorney. that the judge has accepted that request.
Then who
I don't know why
accepts?
you wouldn't, the judge.
Well, why wouldn't, I mean, he's taking it over and we're not, so,
All right, whatever. I mean, at this point, we're going on that assumption.
request for funds for the town hall kitchen. These seem like it's a reasonable first request if everyone's looked at them.
Absolutely.
Getting the dishwasher up to snuff and some information or some product they need to utilize it properly.
Yeah, the only thing we don't know is the cost of getting the dishwasher repaired.
Right.
But it's basically a gasket.
And these funds were approved. ARPA, we'll be using ARPA funds for this, so this was approved in one of our meetings, I believe the last meeting.
Ed,
Yes.
we don't have approval on the use of the opera funds on that yet.
On what?
On, is it supplies that they're
Well,
asking for?
I think we do. But we'll see. I mean,
Another
we
one
have
we'd have to
approval.
ask.
We have approval for upgrading the kitchen. This is upgrading the kitchen.
Yep.
I mean, you know, we're trying to go by the rules. However inconsistent they may be.
So just so you know, we've got some numbers, a total of about $500 for some soap and sanitizer station, and then a chemical sanitization station in the kitchen. And then, as I said, we don't have a cost for fixing the gasket on the dishwasher, but I would guess that $500 might cover that. So are we good giving him the go-ahead?
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Everyone,
Yep. All right.
No, what about the, the establishing service with Dennis Foods? Did you read that at the bottom?
Yeah.
And you also read that, so it's more than $500 he's asking for, because
Lee's saying
he
it's
would
about
suggest purchasing 3 of each and store them. So that would probably be closer to $1,500.
Oh. Okay, I mean,
I'm not opposed to it. I'm just bringing up
Yeah.
that that's what it is. It's not.
I guess I need to.
well, it's, all right, we can check on the cost. I mean, obviously, the gasket only needs to be fixed once.
Correct, but the other stuff
And
is,
the 3 chemicals are $200 a year. So that 3 years would be $600. So $600 plus the cost of the gasket.
no. For the dishwashing machine, it was $300 for the stuff they needed for the dishwasher, okay? The chemicals. It's $200 for the stuff they need for the 3-bay sink.
Right.
So it's $500,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
he's inquiring about us purchasing 3 of each.
Well, I would just recommend we go with 1 for now and see what we've got going on here and how much we're using, because
Right.
But this
we're looking
about,
at 12 times a year right now.
in establishing service with Dennis Foods,
Well, that's,
part of this. Okay.
So that's where the supplies are coming from, correctly?
Yep.
Correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. So
As long as establishing service is just agreeing that maybe we'll use them. I
Yeah, we'll
mean,
have to set up an account with them.
yeah,
Yeah,
as long as we're not buying into something.
Right.
correct. No contract or anything.
Okay, so we're agreeing on 1 year at 500 to begin with, plus the cost of
Well,
the gasket.
or, yes, we're agreeing to buy enough chemicals for the sink and the dishwasher for 1 year, how much ever he thinks
Right.
that may be.
Yeah,
Plus the cost of the gas.
And
Yeah.
plus the cost of the gasket.
Right.
yeah, I'd be leery about buying dishwasher stuff more than a year because we don't know for sure that the dishwasher works. I mean, it runs, it moves water, and it didn't leak either, but the gasket is indeed very hard. So, okay, so one of each.
So enough for 1 year.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can agree with that, yeah.
All right. LD 290, stabilized property taxes. As I hope people who are qualified live in the house over 10 years, I believe 65 or older, you submit a form and it freezes your taxes at, in effect, this year's rate. So if taxes go up next year, you would not be affected by that. The town would get reimbursed from the state by some method that no one knows how to do. So, but it does stabilize mine obviously too, property taxes. That's a good thing.
Yeah, for now, my guess is there are gonna be some amendments to that.
Like how to do it.
Well,
A lot.
yeah, if they're gonna do it. And they'll do it for a year or two. So anyways, we'll
We
go
have
on that.
information here, I think, on bus stop signs for Parsonsfield. We're gonna be in touch with the state. There was one
State's already
area,
been contacted.
pardon?
The state has already.
State's already responded.
They responded?
They want to know if it was an easy spot to move the bus stop, which it is not a good spot to move the bus stop.
Okay.
So they're gonna have to come out and look at the site distance and figure something out.
Yeah.
It is a sketchy kind of a,
Yeah.
people go way too fast right there.
Right.
And they should see a flashing light on a bus, but apparently this person didn't, or the brakes
What's
didn't work.
the speed limit on that road, do we know?
45 right
45.
there, I believe.
45?
Yeah.
Okay, so according to their figures, that's like 435 feet
Yeah.
the sign should be from the stop.
Yeah. Oh, you should be able to see
Well,
from
that's the
this.
sight distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently there was an incident where a person,
I quicker think someone was looking at their phone or something
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they were.
not paying attention.
Yeah.
well, they rolled their car.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, to avoid the bus.
Well, that's-
Luckily, the students are picked up and dropped off on the, they don't have to walk across the road. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
They all get dropped off and walk
They just walk.
up the road,
Yeah.
the side road.
Senior,
Can we,
Yeah.
what are we,
Well,
what are
the
we
state's-
doing? What are,
the state's been contacted
right,
and they're gonna come out, they have to come out and,
Danielle Danielle told the head of the bus, right, to direct them.
Missy to talk to
Contact
them
them.
directly because she would know better if it
Right.
was
Okay.
moved and the actual problems.
okay,
Right.
good,
And so I can follow up with her.
okay, thank you.
apparently the state doesn't want us putting up signs.
No,
Nope,
All right,
I don't want us putting up
yeah,
signs.
right, we don't want to get into that.
because you have to take them down, and there's all sorts of, yeah.
Yeah.
Senior center activities, we have a monthly report.
This is like by far better than what we could get out of the sheriffs.
What, Jen's?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's a,
put old people to work, that's the bottom line.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
well, it's,
Well, yeah, but this is 3 months after the fact, or after it started. It took how many years?
I know.
At the Sheriff's
but
Department. Sorry, Darren.
This is local,
Okay.
sort of. I want to thank Jen Lewis again. She's doing a great job coordinating all this and getting things going. And as I said, these will all be in our annual report. 60 people attended the Monday coffee hours. Pickleball's growing. So it's in the community cafe, which is the once a month. It was attended by 56 people. 34 from Parsonsfield, 6 from Cornish, and whatever. So this was a great way for our seniors, and you don't have to be a senior, but you can be a little older, to get out and meet people.
Don't have to be a little older. Anybody can come.
Well, I know, but I mean, but this isn't the Christus down at the town hall. I mean,
No,
this is-
if you're under 65, you just have to pay $10.
Pay a
Oh,
little more.
it tastes, it's delicious. So
Yeah.
it's restaurant quality
Yeah.
by far.
Did you see? Did you go last time?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we buy it.
It was the fish, right? They had fish or whatever.
Yeah,
It was
I
just
went
like being at
last time.
Scaranjo's.
Yeah, very good.
Excellent.
So that is going well. There'll be a budget meeting, I think, on March 22nd with Dr. Landry, with the select people concerning the school budget for next year. That's an annual event we all look forward to. West End Camp, the newsletter they sent us, happened to be for the girls' camp, but that's okay. In the next week or so, we'll be talking to West End Camp. They have offered scholarships to Parsonsfield residents to the children in past years. It got suspended for a couple of years due to the virus. Hopefully we can reinstitute that. There's a new camp director, which I'm trying to set a meeting up with as we speak, so hopefully that can progress as it has been in the past, where West End Camp gives a couple of scholarships, generally to 2 people for like a 2-week period. And we go to Dr. Landry and get recommendations from the school as to students they think are deserving of this scholarship, and we go from there. Main and local roads. We have a newsletter, 9 or 10 things of how to take care of roads and when to post roads and remove postings and that type of thing. This information was forwarded to Meyer. And we've been talking about a little bit about roads and plowing roads and private roads and public roads. And so roads are obviously an issue here. We have about 80 miles of roads, and about half of them are dirt. And they all require a different type of maintenance, or dirt roads and paved roads. So we'll be looking at that in the next few weeks. Funding opportunity notice from Southern Maine. They're reaching out to see if there's any funding issues that we could avail ourselves of and try and take advantage of. We're also looking at a letter we received from, if I can find it here.
It was from Pingree, wasn't it?
Well, Sheriff Pingree office to, actually it was Sarah Lawrence, who works for Congresswoman Pingree, about the town needing any additional funding or grants or projects, and that's something that maybe, I don't know, the comprehensive committee can get involved, or we've got to sit down, maybe get the town involved with the type of projects. You know, we're pretty good at the local getting stuff done. But when you come to the big projects involving, you know, millions of dollars, which is significant on taxes, et cetera, we've avoided that, I think. We've just sort of said, let's not owe anybody anything and pay our bills and keep the town going in a good direction. So we have to see what type of projects are available. I know 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, there was the sewer project for the town, which 12, 15, whatever it was like $8 million back then. So the bigger projects, at least we should maybe discuss them a little more, find out some kind of associated costs, and then decide whether we think it's a good thing for the town. So I think that would probably be a good informational type meeting when we get organized and find out what resources we can get to attend the meeting and go from there. We did have on the storm, Christmas storm, whatever you want to call it, Parsonsfield requests help for threshold needed for FEMA. So York County had to come up with $940,000 worth of damages related to the storm in order to qualify for FEMA reimbursement. We did, Parsonsfield, portion of that was about $200,000, Deb?
The price on the 100,000 culvert got dropped to estimate of 45,000, so it did bring it down, but that's just an estimate.
No, I know, but
So
if it's approved, we'll get a percentage of what we spent.
hopefully, yes.
Well,
Yeah, if it's approved.
yeah. So, and that only helps the budget and how much money's in the bank. Jesse, you got anything?
I was just looking at our March calendar. At the bottom, very bottom, every Tuesday it says 5 p.m. Selectmen meeting. Reminds me we need to.
Yeah. Are we gonna move it?
Yeah.
Because we got daylight savings.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It helps me. I know. I hate to be.
When you,
No.
well, you're just
I hate to be the pain, but
the iconoclast.
I'm actually gone back to work now. So.
No, hey,
So when,
Work is important.
Jesse?
What's a good day?
Whenever after daylight savings is fine to me. Whatever.
next week, daylight savings
So
this weekend.
do we got to put a notice out or something? Do it in a couple weeks or something.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks
So
from
you
now.
want to do the 27th?
The
21st.
21st, I'm sorry.
yeah, when 21st, yeah.
Okay.
21st?
That's fine to me. Yeah.
But next week we'll still be at 4.
Okay, well, we gotta... That school meeting is at 6 o'clock.
On the 22nd.
I thought it was the 21st.
Well, originally that was their hope, but it's the 22nd.
Oh, it's at the
Okay.
22nd.
Yes.
School. What did I just? I think I just put it in.
Well, it said the 21st.
The heading on the email still said the 21st because they just kept the same email, but that didn't work for
Okay,
somebody, or I'm not even sure.
okay, so our meeting is changing to 5 o'clock on the 21st.
Yeah.
I'm sure the website will reflect that, and maybe we can get something in the shopping guide saying we're gonna do that.
Sounds good.
And we'll go on at 4 o'clock and say, if you're there, just be patient, we'll see you at 5.
We can do that. We can put it online with a note that says meeting time changed.
Dave, you want to talk about our magnificent generator?
I can do that. Generator was hooked up on Friday. It took them about 5 hours, so we were out of power for about 4 hours. And that was the electrician's work. And then the guy from PowerPoint came after that, and he fired it up and did some tests on it, and it looks like it's operational. As a matter of fact, Danielle can attest to the fact that it actually kicked in. Was it just yesterday?
Yesterday with the wind, yep.
Yeah. When there's a tree down on wires up here, and
Good timing.
yeah.
And it worked? Fired
And it
it?
worked.
So, and it shuts back off automatically too? I
Yeah,
assume?
yeah, it's all automatic.
It was almost like the power just flickered. That's how fast it was.
Really?
It was crazy.
I gotta tell you,
it's
I
gonna be-
don't think that was the generator. I think what was happening is that the branch was probably going up and down on the wires or something, because the generator takes about 20 seconds.
I was gonna say,
I know it went off at 3:45. When I left at 4, that generator was running.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No, I'm sure the bouncing of if that's what it was, that the limb would have keyed the generator,
Oh, okay.
but it doesn't kick in that quickly.
Okay.
But
Normally it's a 10 to 20 second.
It worked
Yeah.
anyway. I did
Yeah.
some transactions after, so that was the important
Yeah.
part, I guess.
Yeah.
David, is that gonna start once a week?
yeah, it tests
Probably.
itself 10 a.m. on Tuesdays right now is what
10 a.m.
it's
on
set up
Tuesdays?
for.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
So he offered that as a time. I said, that's good. I'll be here. I'll go out and listen to it
Yeah.
at least once or twice just to make sure. And
Is there a flap on that, or do you have to keep the snow off the top of it?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm sure the exhaust comes out
Yeah,
the side.
there are probably some
Yeah.
Vents
inputs
on the
that we're going to
sides,
have to
yeah.
keep clear. We've got a pile of documentation there that Ed's going to go through.
See you in a month.
Yeah. Let's see, what else about the generator? I guess that's it, yeah. As Danielle did find out, though, if we lose power, Spectrum loses power. Spectrum doesn't have any backups in this area, so internet access goes down, which can affect some of what Danielle does. So, but everything else, all the stuff we do locally, stays
And the
active.
heat, and light.
Yeah, heat and lights, all the computers. I mean, the power supplies backups that we have on all the computers should keep them going for that 20 seconds, and then the generator kicks in. So we shouldn't have to worry about the computers going on and off. I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our, after how many months? I don't even want to think of the months. Our audio-visual program design is finally, we've signed the contract. ARPA funds again.
I don't think that's
50%
signed
down, and some of the stuff they have in-house and some they have to order, so
Right.
they'll be, I'm sure, letting us know in the next week or so when they'll be planning installation. So we'll all have to get haircuts and look presentable. I mean, we're gonna be on.
I don't know about that.
Now, we didn't have the makeup people. There's no makeup people.
Notice Ed just got his cut.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, if we can go back to the generator for just
Yeah.
a second, I asked the PowerPoint gentleman about maintenance, and the first year of maintenance is included with the purchase.
yeah,
After that, we'll have to talk to them about what a maintenance contract would cost. He said they do them.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for a smaller generator. Mine's like 22 kW or something. It's like $150. They change the oil, change the spark plug, and just, check it out type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Your generator for your house is 22 kW?
yeah.
Got to run air conditioners and
It's the house.
I run a 5,000, runs my whole house.
Well, I used to have one of those.
All right.
So, that's about it from our standpoint. The Spirit of America, we've got a couple of outstanding candidates, and
I don't know if I should just write it down or mention it now, just a thought was.
write it down.
Right, I'll write it. I'll just write it down.
We'll go over at one of the meetings. We'll go over all the nominees.
Do you want to keep it quiet until it's announced, or?
Yeah, until we
Yeah.
talk about it at a meeting, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
What about the Boston game?
Yeah, that's on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the information, right? I
Okay.
told you who the lady was, right? Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gloria said she moved out of town in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm,
Okay.
yeah. I think it ought to be
She
Maryland.
just moved out of town too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, just.
Yeah, she just did
It's
last week.
different than
Right.
8 years ago.
Okay.
You have that list from
Yeah. Yeah, I've got it.
And remember, folks, ARPA requests, we have items like this, the cemetery gates and road repairs, old townhouse, so we'll put a half a dozen, whatever you folks want, and we'll vet it through MMA to make sure it's a valid reimbursable expense. And then we can prioritize them and get it done.
Before
Yeah?
I didn't have a chance to go through my list.
Oh, I thought you, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So we already talked about the generator. The Boston Post cane, we need to get something going on that. Where did Marilyn go?
I'll find out. Her son just called me the other day.
Oh, really?
Jay Merrill.
Jay Merrill.
Yeah, and said that she'd moved to assisted living. So
I mean, we have
I
given.
think he told me, but I didn't.
Yeah.
pick it
We
up.
have given the cane to people who have recently moved to
Yeah,
assisted
no, I
living.
went to Merrill up to South Paris or
Yeah,
West Paris.
yeah, I went to Edith Smith.
Yeah.
So I guess my recommendation would be to give it to Marilyn,
Great.
if that's all right.
She's not the oldest, or she's,
Well, she is.
oh, okay.
She is. But as Jesse says, she just moved from the town.
No, that's it, we sort of
There was another lady who was 100,
discussed that
but she
last.
apparently moved 7 years
Okay,
ago.
so-
Yeah. Yeah, Marilyn is 98. Okay, so I will get, let's see, you want to talk to Jay Merrill, or
I
you want
will.
me to?
Let me make sure I can find his number.
Okay,
And
I can get his number if you don't have it.
okay, I didn't save it, but I think I should have it.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't say something.
Because what we usually do, I have little plaques made up. One goes on the cane and one we keep.
I have it right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we like to put the date that we present it
Yep.
on that plaque. So if you can set something up,
Yeah. I
and
have it.
it'd be great if Jay Merrill could
Yeah.
be
Oh, I would assume he would go.
Yeah.
What else does he get to do? He's got to be retired. Darn near.
Yeah. Okay, so if you can do that and let me know,
Okay.
that'd be great. Okay. Meeting time we talked about, we'll be going to 5 o'clock on the 21st of March. And then there's the rescue contract. We had a rescue meeting last night, and a major change, but minor in its implication. The rescue was looking at applying for grants, and the people who issue grants like contracts that are longer than a year because it shows stability. They don't like to give money to organizations that are going to disappear after a year. So we agreed to a 3-year contract. Question came up now whether we have the authority to sign that contract. I don't know. I mean, the 1-year contract was signed last year, and for years before that, maybe authority was given way back. I don't know.
I have no clue.
Yeah. So I guess we need to check on that. They're kind of expecting us to sign it tonight, so,
But this just came up last night,
yeah,
and they want you to sign it tonight.
yeah, yeah. Well, understand, we're working without a contract right now.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and no other changes, so. But I understand the reservations about signing it. We'll need to, I don't know where we go with that, though.
I'll email
MMA?
MMA
Yeah?
legal.
Okay. All right. Can you contact them tomorrow?
Yes, I will, sir.
Thank you. Okay. That's the end of my list, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. A comprehensive list it was. Jeff, you're sitting over there very patiently taking notes.
Yes, I am.
Good. You got,
Very patient. Are you ready for my notes?
huh, who?
Are you ready for my notes?
If they pertain to the meeting.
They actually do,
Oh, okay.
except for one maybe.
Except for one.
So we'll start off with the first one. Mentioned a dishwasher. That's great, but we're still waiting for that dehumidifier from 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
we are.
All right, so I just didn't know
No, good point.
which
Good
came
point.
first, the horse or the cart. And the bus stops, bus stop signs, what brought to my mind was how many times does a bus stop? Because if a bus stops like, I don't know, 50 times and they run, that'd be 50 signs, so.
This is a
No,
workshop.
we're talking about one
I
stop.
know, I understand we're talking about one, and I'm just saying what's good for one is good for the other. No signs or 50 signs, you know. I'm just looking at the other
Okay.
the other side of it, where someone says, well, wait a minute, we don't have any in East Parsonsfield, and you got some in the village. I'm just bringing these things up just because I can. And the 80 miles of road in Parsonsfield, 40 miles of dirt. I've read on something on...
No, that's a little off, but there's over 30.
Okay, I read something on Parsonsfield website that people want the roads paved. I guess if we're going to do that, then we need to raise our taxes really quick if we're going to do something like that.
That was on Facebook, not on the website.
Right, well, Facebook, Parsonsfield,
Okay. But that wasn't on the website. I just want to make that point.
I've got it. Okay, that's a very good point. Brought up the propane tank and the generator. So if the power does go out and the generator is working and we have a select board meeting, but we won't have internet for it, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And speaking about propane, are we going to move the tank so we can have a place to put the snow in the next winter?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Is that agreeable? You're agreeable
Yeah.
with that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm perfectly
Yeah,
fine with it. Yeah.
And you mentioned about damage from the storms and stuff like that.
There was a storm in December.
It was a storm in December,
Christmas.
and the estimated cost of cleaning it up.
Our cost, what were our initial costs, Deb? Do you have that there?
Well, it was 150 to
I
200,000,
have an
depending
estimate
on.
of 188,000 right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Will their costs change in the spring when
Yes.
everything melts, and then you see that there's more
Yes.
trees down, and they'll be cleaned up, and that will go on top of
Yes.
what's already? Okay,
Yes.
just
Yeah,
trying.
that was stated several times.
Okay, I didn't hear it stated. I'm sorry.
No, it was
No, it
during
it wasn't
the meeting
stated.
that I had, Jeff.
Okay. You mentioned about the Stanley Building and the attorney fees. How much, I've been asking this, so how much did it cost for us to have a lawyer for the Stanley Building? What was the final cost?
Well, I don't think we haven't even got the final bill yet, but I'm sure we can figure that out.
Direct costs were close to $50,000, and there's some indirect costs also.
$50,000 for something that was none of our business.
What do you mean it was none of our business?
Well, I mean, it was,
We couldn't get rid of the mill. You wanted to sell the mill,
I wanted to sell the mill
didn't you? Well, I mean, I take that back,
for
Jeff.
$1. No,
I
didn't
take
want
that, well,
No, what I wanted was to see $500,000 put down, and every dollar you spend, you get it back. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, I wanted to get $1 million for it, but we couldn't only get one bidder on it, so.
Well, right, and that's a whole nother subject. So since I did miss a meeting about that, widen Mill Street, that was brought up at a meeting to widen Mill Street?
No.
No?
It's not even a town road.
Yeah, it's
No,
not a
I
town
think-
road.
Right, that
They
is
can do
something
it.
that the mounts is, because if they have big trucks coming, you know,
Something to do with
they can't
that. They'd
make
have
that
to-
right down
Nothing to do
in
with
there.
us.
Nothing to do with the town. So Mill Street is a
Town.
private road?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
We just have a right of way.
They, in theory, want to buy everything and make the
Right.
road
They
wide.
want to buy the whole thing. Yeah, I get that, because
That has
it's
nothing
right
to-
on the edge, the bakeries is the first one to lose. Yeah, I get that. Okay, and trees at the cemetery, did I mention that? No, I didn't. There's a lot of trees that I marked last year, or maybe the year before that, that probably need to be cut down because they're dead. So that could be on maybe a list of.
Well, we'll get the cemetery update and
Yeah,
see if
I know
we
you
can get
mentioned.
reimbursed.
I know
for
you
it.
mentioned gates, but I didn't hear any
Town
trees.
cemetery,
trees.
that's a thing we're gonna look at FEMA project.
Okay, great.
Awful.
Okay.
If it happens in
And-
a storm.
Last but not least, it's just an observation of mine. I look out and I see beautiful bare roads the day after it snows. It's great. The problem is, technically, we're using too much salt.
So that, let me speak to that. The ground got thawed out enough that they didn't use any more salt this time around than they ever did before. Everything, I went to widen out some of my camp roads yesterday morning.
Yeah.
They were, and we don't use any material on them. They were perfectly bare from start to finish.
Right.
And they've had no material all summer.
Right.
That, all winter. That's something to do with the temperature.
Right.
It isn't because they use more salt this time. It's most 99% because of the temperature.
I guess, well, I was just remember in the old days where it snowed, the next day there still was snow.
So this is the thing, Jeff. You and I are perfectly fine with with snowy roads, okay?
Right.
If a road gets a little bit of snow on it for 20 minutes now, the phone rings off the hook.
Right.
Well,
Which-
I'm fine with snow on the roads. It never bothered me. You're fine with snow on the roads, but the phone will ring off the hook the second that somebody goes to leave the driveway and the road isn't
Right.
scraped.
It was an observation when I looked out the window yesterday.
It's,
I go, wow,
it
look at
melted.
this.
Yeah.
All my parking lots melted. Everything
Well, it's a fraction
melted.
of- It's March.
Yes, that's.
Oh, I know, the days are much longer. So just for my own curiosity, I went on the internet, looked up Maine University, I guess, did a study and stuff. And in 2019 and 20, we used 493,000 tons of salt, which is an increase. And at
Who's we?
The state?
the college did a
No, but who's the we that used
the
400?
state of Maine.
Okay.
Maine used 493 tons of road salt.
1,000 tons.
1,000 tons, 493,000 tons, and that equals 787 pounds per resident. It's a lot of salt, and they just said that there's a lot more streams that are getting too much chloride or whatever the chemical is from the salt. So I'm just saying, I know people are complaining, but
I'm with you 100%, Jeff, on that. But
Yeah.
what are we going to do? Sit here and listen to people be terribly.
No, I know, and I just, I was just
Well,
in
the
the town
snow
parking lot, and I
And
just
then
saw-
a truck goes off the road. So this is what happens.
No, I
Then a
agree.
truck goes off the road, and then they blow up the plow guy's number. You know what I'm saying? Because the road wasn't there. Then they blow up his number, and then
No, I'm getting it.
I agree.
But the studies are showing that with the warmer climate and using more salt, the roads they get more potholes and they get more damage now because of the so-called climate change or whatever. But just pointing it out. That, we're using,
People. So
and I
this-
know people want.
I had a good discussion with the road commissioner the other day, and he brought up a good point. Since everyone got an iPhone however long ago, everyone wants everything instant now because everything's instant on their iPhone all the time. It's one touch away. Now they want everything like that.
I
And
get
they
it.
want to, used to be, when I was a kid in a snowstorm, nobody was on the road. Everyone stayed home. Now people don't care. They don't even think, oh, it's going to snow. I guess I'll plan to stay home that day. They don't even think about it. They don't watch the weather. They just go about it, and if it's not bare, then they're mad.
Right, which makes it even worse for the plow guy.
Correct.
Because the road gets packed
Yes.
down, it's harder to clean it up.
Yeah,
And
they can't scrape it. If they were the only ones for the majority driving on it, they could scrape it, but they're not. Everyone's out and about, shredding it down.
I get it.
It's a losing battle.
It's sad. I'm just bringing it up, and I guess that's all I got
Okay.
for now.
Thank you. It's good.
All right,
Seriously.
folks. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week unless there's a storm.
There is a storm, actually.
Over the weekend, I thought.